The following program is sponsored by AmeriLife of Central Florida.
Just ahead on Retirement Your Way with AmeriLife of Central Florida, you'll learn all about the 3 phases of retirement planning, including what you should do when you make the transition from accumulation to distribution. Plus, get ready to test your financial knowledge with a brand new edition of our favorite game. It's called Right or Wrong. Retirement Your Way starts now. Hello and welcome once again to Retirement Your Way. I'm Matt McClure. Thanks so much for joining us. I am here as always with Bradley and Madison Hardin from AmeriLife of Central Florida. Nice to see you both again.
Hello.
It's great to see you too, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm always doing well when the three of us get together to talk about all things retirement, the whole planning process, and how you guys are able to help out in that process with a lot of people here in Central Florida. Tell folks, if maybe they're joining for the first time, what you guys do as a couple, as a married couple, and kind of the why behind it.
Bradley and I both are natural Floridians, born and raised here, and
Which is a rare thing.
Yeah, we have a combined 17 years of experience helping clients safely navigate retirement.
Yeah, and we've chosen AmeriLife to stay with for the years that we've been working because, they've been in business since 1971, so over 50 years of knowing exactly what it feels like to be a retiree in the state of Florida. So we just pride ourselves that we're with a company that provides us the tools and resources to be able to plan for our clients.
And to be able to work with a lot of different carriers and just, have a lot of resources, as you say, at your disposal to be able to help the people that you work with each and every day. And today on the show, we're talking about the 3 phases of retirement planning. And the first phase that we want to go through here is the accumulation phase. So we'll kind of break it down into all of these 3 phases. So we've got accumulation, we've got planning, preparing, and preserving as the second phase, and then we've got distribution as the last phase. We'll get to those last 2 in just a bit. But let's spend some time talking about accumulation right now. This is essentially building up that pot of money, that nest egg, if people want to phrase it that way, that you're going to be able to live on in your retirement years, right?
Right, and you want to make sure that you're paying yourself first. And so you can utilize a lot of different ways to save for retirement, whether it be through your company's 401k, 403b. You could even, go into what they call a Roth IRA, which does give you tax advantages as you get into that retirement age. And, and also life insurance has become a tool that people are using to save for retirement. I know you think, oh, well, isn't that just for death benefit? Well, actually, no. In some cases, it can be used for preparing for income, specifically tax-free income as you get into those retirement years.
Yeah, the people always think of life insurance as being just that. I mean, had always learned and heard and all of that life insurance is protection against dying too soon and allows that death benefit to be paid for your family. But there are special kinds of life insurance that build the cash value, but also allow you to take tax-free distributions essentially from those policies and live on that, have that be an income stream for you in retirement. So there's a lot that goes into it. And, building out that cash value and that insurance policy could be one way to accumulate. Obviously, the main thing I feel like people think about when they think about the accumulation phase of things and building up that nest egg is the financial markets, right? Like being invested in the stock market, putting that money into the 401k and all of that. When you're young, great. But as you get closer to retirement, I mean, there could be better options for you that allow for that growth, but still some safety as well, right?
Right. We really want to see our clients eliminate a lot of that downside risk as you're nearing in retirement. As we've said in previous episodes, you have to protect what you can't afford to lose once you're nearing retirement age, because you're no longer going to be adding to your 3 buckets, you've got to make those buckets last for the longevity.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people may overlook as far as accumulation would be accumulating income, right? So we all know about accumulating dollars through 401s and retirement plans, but as you get into retirement, one of our main strategies is making sure you've got guaranteed income that you cannot outlive. And, not everybody is fortunate enough to retire with a pension. So you've got these 401k, 403b, IRA dollars that are on the market. What am I supposed to do? Do I just take withdrawals and just when that gets to zero, I'm all done? Well, no, there are ways to, turn that into income that you cannot outlive. So, as you start to transition to retirement, sometimes accumulating income streams, provides for a safe plan.
Right. And a lot of times we're meeting with folks before they're retiring, and we're able to kind of transition part or all of their portfolio before they are retiring. So that's an option also.
Yeah, and that can then help protect them from something that we've spoken about previously that's called sequence of returns risk. Like if they are just right at retirement or maybe a few years before, they're closing in on it, and if there's a market downturn, they need to be protected against that because, again, as you say, that's money that they can't afford to lose. And you've built up this big nest egg your entire life. We're going to talk more about income in just a little bit. We're also going to talk about that planning, preserving, and preparing phase of retirement. But that income portion, it tends to be much more important than that big nest egg number that people tend to kind of laser focus on. But we're going to take a quick break though first. Before we do that, there is a QR code on your screen. You'll see it there throughout the show today. Take out your phone and scan that code at any time. Bradley and Madison can get started then on your retirement plan today. It is free of any cost or any obligation. All right, stick around. There is much more Retirement Your Way coming up. Welcome back. This is Retirement Your Way. Thanks so much for being a part of things. I'm Matt McClure here along with Bradley and Madison Harden from AmeriLife of Central Florida. We're talking about like the 3 phases of retirement planning that we'd like to break things down into here on the show today. And the first one is the accumulation phase. We covered that in the first part of the show. Now let's move on to the second phase of retirement planning, which is actually the planning, the preparation, and the preserving kind of phase. What do we mean when we say, because it's almost like 3 phases for the price of one there, call now and you'll get, these 3 phases for the price of one. But we got those kind of 3 sort of mini phases to focus on in this one larger phase of the retirement planning experience.
Right. And that's when you should really start to feel like you're going to be getting into retirement. So you've worked, you've contributed, you've kind of gotten yourself ready to start to circle that date on the calendar. And that's one of the things that we ask when we meet with clients that are not retired yet is, have you chosen a date? Is that your 64th birthday, 65th? Is that date chosen? And so we try to make sure that day is easy for you. And Madison will talk a little bit about, the preparation, as we transition from accumulation to what we see as the heartbeat.
Right. And ideally you want to start having those conversations 5, 6, 7 years ahead of when you plan to retire. And part of what we do when we meet with people initially is taking a look at what your current and future expenses are going to look like, what the income is going to look like. We do a deep dive into any risk and fee assessments we need to do ahead of time, and then we can really direct the course of what we need to do next.
Yeah, it really is such an important thing because as I say, probably until I'm blue in the face, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So this is an essential part of the whole process. And if you don't have a plan, you're really just kind of flying blind into those retirement years. And you're like, well, I hope I make it. Hope's not a strategy, right?
Right, exactly. And through our 17 years of experience, we've met a lot of different people in different phases of pre-retirement and retirement. And we're working with AmeriLife, we have those tools and resources to be able to make a custom plan. So as I sit here, I say no one's plan is exactly the same. It's similar because we're all human. We have healthcare, we have food, utilities. We have to plan for those things, but all the advice I would give is custom to the individual. And through our fact-finding and needs analysis on that initial visit helps determine the course of that plan.
Yeah, because what's right for you might be completely wrong for somebody else. Likewise, what was right for mom and dad or Uncle Joe or whoever could be completely wrong for you. So it's like, it's got to be customized for your individual situation because we're all different and we are all individuals with those similarities in mind, but it's got to be, customized for you and your particular scenario. Then you get into, after that planning, the preparation, the preservation, you go into distribution. And this really is where the rubber meets the road, as it were. It's that income phase of retirement. And it really is where the fruits of your labor kind of come into play, because you've done the accumulation, you've built up the funds, you've put that plan in place, and now you get to reap the benefits of it.
Right. And then the overall success and stress level of your retirement is truly going to depend on your efforts in those first two phases.
Right. And if you're accumulating and we've set a plan, I look forward to executing that plan. I've said in previous episodes, it's, 5 o'clock somewhere in retirement, or we may have heard that in retirement, every day is Saturday.
Every day is Saturday, right.
Right. So you don't save going to Lowe's or Home Depot for the weekend. Oh, it's Wednesday. I've got a honey to-do list. It's time to take care of that. And so you want to make sure that your income and your budget allows for that freedom. And also, and I know in one of the other episodes, is enjoy retirement, travel. While you still have your health, go see your family, go take those cruises, take those trips wherever you want to go. And so we make sure that when we sit down, we factor that in as well.
Yeah. I mean, you want to do and be able to do the things that you want to do in retirement, and having that plan that gets you there, which equals having the income that's going to allow you to get there and be able to do all of those things, particularly early on in retirement, because when you're still, young enough and healthy enough and have the will and the desire to go out and to do things and to maybe travel if you want, check those items off the bucket list. You want to be able to do those. And so having that income plan that's solid is going to be so essential to do the things that are fun.
Right. And as you previously mentioned, the nest egg is great and it's important, but how is that working for you in retirement?
Yeah. It's like, how do you then, draw that down where you're not going to ever run out of money?
Right.
And that takes that longevity risk off the table as well, if you're able to have that plan where that income stream in retirement is going to last as long as you last. So it's super important. And I would encourage everyone watching, if anything that we're talking about so far speaks to you and kind of makes your ears perk up and, gets you interested in a retirement plan for yourself, all you have to do is take out your phone, scan the QR code that you see there on the screen. You can also call the number or go to the website. Bradley and Madison will be glad to start on an income plan for your retirement as well. Stick around. There's much more Retirement Your Way coming up. Welcome back. You are watching Retirement Your Way with AmeriLife of Central Florida. Matt McClure here along with you and alongside Bradley and Madison Harden. And I know that you're both ready to play a little game so that I can put your financial knowledge to the test, right?
Ready.
Born ready.
Absolutely.
That's what it was. Okay, very good. I just wanted to make sure that you were geared up for it, because I want to gear up the people watching right now, and you want to play along with us, or at least I want you to play along with us. So just do me that favor, okay? Because we want to put your financial knowledge to the test as well. I'm going to give some statements here about some different financial concepts, maybe some things that we've been talking about so far on the show as well, and see if you get it right or wrong by guessing whether or not the statement that I give is right or wrong, okay? Let's do it with statement number 1 here, and it is, this time around, it has to do with the dreaded RMD, required minimum distributions. The age at which you must start taking required minimum distributions from a retirement account is 72.
That is wrong. And so with the passing of the Secure Act 2.0, that RMD age was bumped to age 73. So one of the phases in retirement is distribution. So we want to make sure that we plan for that RMD, when it's going to happen, what you're going to do with those funds, and whether or not you want to reallocate those to spending on vacations or if you want to reinvest those RMDs. But again, that is wrong. At age 73, you do have to start taking those distributions.
Yeah, and that's on those tax-deferred accounts like an IRA, 401k, that type of thing. And the reason, that's the case is Uncle Sam, he wants his money because you've had a tax benefit for so many years. You've been putting it in with pre-tax dollars, so you haven't paid the taxes on that yet. So by the time you reach now age 73, eventually I think it'll go up to 75 with the Secure Act 2.0 as well. So Uncle Sam, instead of saying, I want you, he's standing there saying, I want your money, right?
Right. And as part of our meetings with our clients, we've helped a lot of them donate that money. We've helped them pass it along as gifts to family, or like Bradley said, reinvest it into other products. So there really is flexibility at the end of the day. It is your money, so you're able to do what you would like with it, but we're happy to help.
Yeah, the Uncle Sam may make you take it out of that account so you can pay the tax bill on it, but the amount that you take out, there's flexibility there to do what you would like.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, very good. Well, next here on our edition of Right or Wrong for the 3 phases of retirement planning is this. A retiree's Social Security check will likely be enough to cover their monthly expenses in retirement.
That is wrong. So Social Security benefits make up a chunk of your retirement income, but it's definitely not going to be enough to cover all of your expenses.
Right, and what we typically see is it's going to replace about 40% of your working wages. And so a part of our initial consultation is sitting down and figuring out, how much am I earning, what are my monthly expenses now, and what are my anticipated monthly expenses in retirement. And then we're able to put together an income strategy to be able to provide the lifestyle you're looking for in retirement.
Yeah, and because the whole goal, of course, and that's the name of the show after all, is to have a retirement your way. So whatever you want to do in retirement, you need to have a plan to get you there. And so much of that, even so much more important than having one big nest egg built up, is having that plan for retirement income. Because you want to be in a situation, right, where you're not relying solely on Social Security as your retirement income or your retirement plan, God forbid. You want that to be the cherry on top of the situation, the cherry on top, the gravy on top, whatever food metaphor you want to use.
Right. And as we've mentioned in previous episodes, the 3-legged stool. So Social Security is simply just one leg of your stool or your plan, so to speak. Alongside of that is going to be your investment accounts. And then if you were lucky enough to have an employer-provided pension or a personal pension.
Right.
The 3 legs there. You don't want a wobbly stool in retirement. You want to have one that you can count on. So get that plan in place. Absolutely. All right. Another question here in this edition of Right or Wrong, or another statement, I guess I should say, is this. Pre-retirees ages 50 and older can contribute more to an IRA or Roth IRA each year, allowing them to catch up and increase their retirement savings.
That is right. So you are able to make catch-up contributions if you're over the age of 50, and that was designed to help those people who may feel as though they're a little bit behind the 8 ball. But again, it's never too late to start planning your retirement and paying yourself first. One of the things I would try to help our clients with is finding a way to pay yourself first, because your older self will thank your younger self because you utilized that plan.
Yeah, and I love that you say it's never too late, because it's, I have known and I have even been in this situation myself. I feel so bad for not having started to plan when I was in my 20s or whatever. And it's human nature, right? You've got other things going on when you're at that particular age, and a lot of people will just put things off. Yeah, it may be better to start as early as possible with, at least saving, contributing to your different accounts and that sort of thing. But it's not too late to actually, if you need to catch up, and get a plan in place no matter what your situation, no matter who you are, how far along you are in that process.
Right. And a lot of our clients that we've been able to help weren't aware that they were able to start creating that personal pension while they're still working. You're able to kind of roll over a chunk of your 401k or your IRA to create that income that then is going to work for you in retirement.
Yeah. All right. Well, one more statement here in this edition of Right or Wrong, and it is this: a financial professional is just after my money and won't be focused on what's best for me.
That is wrong. We do have a fiduciary responsibility to act in our client's best interest. So again, that is wrong.
Yeah, it's absolutely wrong, because I know that, as we've been talking about here on the show, each and every time we get together, we'll reemphasize it here. It is all about you. It's all about what is best in your individual situation. And really, that is at the center of what Bradley and Madison do. So I will say this: if you would like to get started along the route to a more secure and successful retirement, a retirement your way, then all you have to do, I should say, is to scan that QR code on your screen, call the number, or go to the website and get that initial consultation. All right, stick around. Much more of the show to come right after this. This is Retirement Your Way. I'm Matt McClure. Thanks so much for being a part of the show here today. And every time we get together here, and we do this quite a bit. If this is your first time joining us, we really do appreciate it very, very much. I am here once again with Bradley and Madison Harden from AmeriLife of Central Florida. The 3 phases of retirement planning. That is the discussion we've been having today. Bradley, I'll start with you here. What are maybe some main takeaways from this whole discussion when we think about those 3 phases? And give us a refresher as well of what the 3 phases are.
Right, of course. So the three phases, are stage 1, accumulation. So that's your working years, you're contributing to your retirement, you're saving that nest egg. And if you feel as though you may be a little behind, if you're over the age of 50, you are able to make additional contributions as a catch-up. The second stage is going to be planning, preparing, and preservation. You want to start making sure that all that nest egg that you've now accumulated is safe and ready to use when you're ready. Lastly is the distribution phase. So that's going to be executing that plan, living on those distributions, and getting that income that you save for throughout your working years.
Yeah, and it goes to show that the importance really is key of getting a plan in place, because I think, a lot of people may just right now be kind of flying by the seat of their pants a little bit. That is not a plan. Wishing and hoping for success in your retirement years, not a plan either. So having a plan that accounts for all of those phases and the different things that you should be doing in each of those phases, it's so important.
Right. And like we've mentioned before, what you can track, you can change. So it's not too late. It's not ever too late, really, to get a second set of eyes on your plan to maybe adjust course while you're still a few years out from retirement. And we currently assist clients throughout all 3 phases. We have some people who are just beginning their initial phases of planning. We have many clients that are already in their distribution phase and so on. So we'd be happy to sit down and have that initial meeting to kind of go through all the different stages with you.
Yeah, and that really is what it's all about when you start out meeting with somebody and sort of getting to know them, but also educating them on the different phases of retirement and maybe some different options for them and what's good in their situation. That kind of all starts, of course, with the initial consultation, which, if you're watching, you can scan the QR code that's at the bottom of the screen, call the number, go to the website, and you can get that consultation set up. It's free of any cost, free of any obligation as well. But talk a little bit more, if you will, about that kind of process and what it's like when you do that initial sit down.
Right. So the first thing we always do is just get to know you. And we want you to also be able to get to know us. And so the idea is we ask a bunch of questions. We need to get a baseline of where you're at in those 3 phases. And a lot of times you may be really close to retirement, but your portfolio is still set up for 100% accumulation. And again, it's never too late to start planning, but you want to maybe make those adjustments so that way when you get to that day that you've circled on the calendar, you know that this is my plan, this is my income, these are my expenses, and it's time to start booking that vacation.
Yeah, that's right. And then it's, working together as a team to come up with that plan, to execute that plan, and then make any changes along the way that might need to be made. Because one of the things that you often talk about, both of you, is that, sort of follow up and sort of those check-ins periodically that happen so that if any updates need to be made, they can be.
Right. And there's no smoke and mirrors with the plans that we create. We try to collaborate as best as possible with the clients that we're meeting so that they feel like they are ultimately the ones that are making the choices. We're just giving them the education to kind of make that choice.
Yeah, the education and all of the options. And that, I feel like, is something that people really appreciate, is having options. I know I love having options in my life for the different, things that, may be out there when I'm going to a restaurant. Obviously, I love having all the options on the menu, and then I can customize. But the customization part is key, because that really is what it's all about. People do have choices. You can help guide them toward choices that make sense for them.
Definitely. And just also explaining how it's all correlated in retirement. Your healthcare, your income, your taxes, all those things we would love to assist you with.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it all starts, of course, with that initial consultation. And folks, if you would like one, and I would hope that you do by now, because I'm sure that something that we've been talking about today has been sparking your interest a little bit, all you have to do is scan the QR code that's right there at the bottom of the screen. You can also either call the number or go to the website and request that initial meeting. It is free of any cost or any obligation, as we say. And yeah, it's not like a no pressure situation. You only will continue to work with Bradley and Madison if you determine as a team that that's the right thing for you to do. All right, Bradley, Madison, thank you both once again. Appreciate your time, as always.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us for this edition of Retirement Your Way. We'll see you again next time.
The preceding program was sponsored by AmeriLife of Central Florida.